So the New Orleans Pelicans were one of the biggest disappointments in the NBA this season. A lot of us felt that they would be entering the 50-win club in the Western Conference and Anthony Davis would win MVP and become the best player in the league. And none of those things happened. Now granted, some of that's because of injury. I think part of it is Alvin Gentry's not that great of a coach. But also, the roster they have, it does have some holes in it. So let's talk about it. Are the Pelicans able to potentially turn this around quickly, or is this going to take a little bit longer to get them winning again? Well, first and foremost, Anthony Davis is still awesome, even if he's not the best player in the league. You could make the argument he's a top 5 player, he's definitely top 10. And when you have that, you're never too far away. They also have a point guard in Drew Holiday, who I believe to be one of the better points in the league. A good all-around player, doesn't excel at any one thing, but really good three-point shooter. One of the better defensive points. Can run the pick and roll, just does pretty much everything well. So I think he's fine for them at the point guard position. But then outside of Drew and Davis, you can make the argument that the rest of the starters are not that good. I mean, Eric Gordon at this point in his career, he's a capable three-point shooter. He doesn't shoot well from the field, and he's not going to do much for you defensively, but he can still hit an outside shot for you, which is valuable. Do I think he's worth $15 million that he's making now? No, of course not. Even with the salary cap jumping up, I wouldn't give him $15 mil as a free agent. And given that Gordon is about to enter free agency, the Pelicans, they have a few options there. They could look to re-sign him for maybe like $9 or $10 million, which is a really good contract for him, I think, with the cap jumping. But if not that, there are some guys out there. You could look towards Aaron Aflalo if he decides to decline his player option in New York, which he probably will because he's worth more than $8 million. There's also Courtney Lee if you want defense and shooting. I think Courtney Lee would actually be awesome for them. I don't know if he'll still be in Charlotte next season, but I would look to him. But the Pelicans also have another wing option who was unfortunately injured for the whole season, and Quincy Pondexter. If you remember, he actually shot the lights out of the ball in their playoff run 2 seasons ago. But like I mentioned, he was hurt the whole year. If he comes back next season and he's shooting the ball well, I mean, he's 6'7", he's not a bad defensive player. He would actually be great for them at the shooting guard or small forward position, and he only makes like $3 million a year. He is very cheap. So if I was the Pelicans, I would honestly pencil in Pondexter as one of my starting wings next season. Because, I mean, at small forward, they had like Dante Cunningham the whole year, who's a 0 on offense. Pondexter can actually shoot. I would have Pondexter be ready to start on the wing, and then for shooting guard, you know, if Eric Gordon's not going to cost too much, maybe I'll go that route. I mean, there's Kent Bazemore, who's becoming a free agent. There's options out there, and, you know, guys who are probably going to ask for like 12 mil. It's affordable. Now, a big question is Ryan Anderson, who is very valuable off the bench for them for his shooting and his scoring. I mean, he averaged like 17 points a game this year. But the Pelicans also have a huge hole at center because Omer Asik has become one of the worst players in the league. He's a 0 on offense. He grabs like 6 rebounds a game. And the year of him averaging a double-double for the Houston Rockets, that's long gone. He can't defend the pick and roll. Just not the type of center that you want in the NBA right now. If the Pelicans were going to get crazy, I mean, they could decide to just drop any plans for free agency and just throw as much money at Hassan Whiteside as possible. A front court of Whiteside and Anthony Davis, I mean, from a defensive standpoint, that would just be stupid good. I mean, Davis is a fantastic defensive player, and Whiteside is a great shot blocker. You combine those two things, they would probably lead the league in rebounding as well. But is it worth letting Ryan Anderson go to pursue something like that? I don't know, man. Now, there are some decent centers available. Ian Mahimi's out there. There's Zaza Pachulia, who's still putting up about a double-double for the Mavericks. Next, we can talk about Tyreke Evans, who became like one of the weirdest players in the NBA for me this year because I've never been a big fan of him because he's been a ball-dominant player who's never had a good shooting touch and just wasn't the type of guy that I really wanted to give the ball to. Well, he shot like 38% from 3 this season, which is really weird. And it makes me reconsider for a moment, maybe Tyreke Evans is more valuable than I thought. But he still didn't shoot well from the field. He was at 43% on the year. But still, Tyreke Evans definitely has a skill set, but given that you already have Jrue Holiday, and I think surrounding Anthony Davis with as many shooters as possible is the way to go, I would honestly look to trade Tyreke Evans. If you can get a big man for him who's better than any of the guys available on the market, definitely better than Omer Asik. Hell, if someone would be willing to give you a set of like shooters for Tyreke Evans, which I don't think anybody would, but if you could get that, I would do that. Because I don't think Tyreke Evans is perfect for this particular team. I mean, there's been more than a few cases of him just making bad plays down the stretch, or just looking off Anthony Davis. Like, he's Anthony Davis, give him the damn ball. Now I can also talk about Alvin Gentry. I don't think he's that good of a coach. Harrella Bob summed it up on Twitter pretty well not too long ago, where he said, you have a guy who could be potentially the best pick-and-roll player ever, and you're sticking him out on the perimeter. You can't be doing that, man. Your game plan has to be Anthony Davis pick and roll until the defense figures it out, and with how good Anthony Davis and Jrue Holiday are, it's pretty difficult for them to figure that out. So, in my opinion, the game plan the Pelicans should have is the Jrue Holiday, Anthony Davis pick and roll surrounded by guys who can shoot and play defense, which is why I've suggested names like Courtney Lee, Aaron Aflalo, Quincy Pondexter when he comes back, Eric Gordon if he doesn't ask for too much money, like Kent Bazemore. I think these are the type of guys the Pelicans really need. And they are going to be in the lottery this season, so I would say to them, lose every single game down the stretch from here on. And, you know, Anthony Davis is probably not going to play for the rest of the year, so hopefully they just get as bad as possible so they'll get a really good pick and they can select someone who could fill one of these holes for them. Pelicans need some stuff, man. They need some shooters, they need some defenders, they need Alvin Gentry to realize how to coach a basketball team, and they also need a decent big man next to Anthony Davis. And I'm done.